Patience. And now we continue to work with the teachers and staff to make sure he has a consistent schedule, is rewarded often, and that constant communication occurs. Dylan spread his wings as well. It's been 9 weeks, and he is adjusting to the larger class size. He is participating in an inclusive environment, and he is succeeding both socially and academically. He gets up every day and grabs his backpack and daily folder and is ready for school without a gripe or complaint, and always with a beautiful smile on his face. Finding our wings wasn't easy. Testing them continues to be scary. The best part is no longer wondering if Dylan will ever. Now we only ask when. We don't feel lost or powerless anymore, and we take the time to laugh at our unscripted and chaotic life. There is no question in our minds. Dylan O'Neill will graduate high school. Dylan will make friends and be surrounded by people who love him, and Dylan will be a productive and amazing member of our society. Thank you, Westview. Without your support, nurturing, patience, experienced staff members, teachers, amazing parents, we're not sure where our family would be today. We do know that because of you, Dylan O'Neill is soaring to his next adventure. Thank you.
My husband, Eric, and I had been married for 6 years when we had Seth. He's our first and only child.
We were just so happy, you know, the first parents, and it's overwhelming, and but it was great.
Really ready for this and had wanted these kids for so long, and just was so happy when they showed up.
A lot of high energy, a lot of tantruming. He got kind of violent. Our daughter quit having friends over because he would pinch them.
He was doing some things that were, should have been red flags for us, just very isolated, never wanted to really deal with people, and just sort of sat in a corner.
And I remember one day having one of my girlfriend's son over, and they were sitting there talking, playing away. Well, my son wasn't talking, but her son was talking my ear off, and I'm just looking at them going, okay, this isn't right.
You could see the developmental difference between him and his peers pretty easily. He tried to play with them, but he played very differently than the other kids.
But he needed help with circle. He needed help sitting for snack, and for music was a little overwhelming for him.
At that point, we realized that he wasn't talking. Everybody said, he's a boy, he'll talk when he's ready. So we kind of kept putting it in the back of our mind, but you know, a month would go by and we still, you know, weren't hearing anything from him.
There was a period of where you're really mourning the son you thought he would be, the fantasy of what all that's going to mean.
When they got the diagnosis of PDD and OS, we were not surprised, but we were kind of, okay, this is real now.
And it did hit us really hard. You know, all of a sudden you're thinking, what is he going to do? Is he going to be able to live independently one day? Is he going to get progressively worse? It really changed everything about our life just in a short period of time.
It got to the point where I hated the time of day to go pick up my kids because I knew it was just going to be anxiety of the homework he's going to have, and he's not going to want to do it. And I'd sit in my car crying. I mean, I knew he had it.
At that point, yeah.
But I needed the label. I needed to know for sure that he has it.
Basically, we just don't know what to do with him anymore. And I went, okay. He said, have you ever considered the Westview School? And I said, up to that point, I had never heard of the Westview School. And you check it out, it's like specifically for highly functioning autistic children and PDD.
They had an extended day program. He could be here all day. It was just perfect.
Well, you know, there aren't really any places but this one school, Westview. She said, you don't do anything else, you call Jane Stewart, you go out to Westview, that's what you do. And so we did that.
I'm Jane Stewart. I'm the director and founder of the Westview School. I started the school in 1981 with 4 children in my home. And at that time, I had no idea that I would be so blessed that years later we would have a school with 150 students, 30,000 square feet of teaching space, 7 acres of land, and a staff of 65.
The program here and how they do it and how they work with the children and how they relate to the children changes the way those children relate to the world and their parents and their peers and their friends and family.
Were we impressed by the campus, but we looked in the class that Gregory would potentially be in, which was a pre-K class, and those kids just looked great. They looked so cute. They were like all doing everything and singing the songs and reading the books and paying attention to the teachers, and they really looked like just a pretty normal class.
Westview welcomes parents up here. They encourage you to come up, and that's very unusual at a school. Most schools really don't want a lot of parental involvement.
It's a joyous place. It's full of love, positive attitudes from everybody.
He gets that positive experience, and it's a team building and working with other kids. And I guess one of the things I've noticed is he's starting to lead other kids. He's starting to, when he's in a group of boys his age or around his age with his brother, I mean, he'll take the lead now at times.
This is awesome. Every person here is so tuned in to these kids. It's truly amazing. I mean, we're not only impressed with the campus, which is beautiful, but every person we talked to was so just like they get it. They get our kids. They get who our kids are, what it takes to teach them. They know how to reach them.
The first week of school, Noah would get out of the car happy. He would get back in the car happy. And towards the end of the week, I remember asking his teacher, how's Circle? Is he sitting with the class? Is he participating? And she looked at me and she was, of course he's participating. And then I just had this moment where I realized that they get it. They get what kind of kid my son is. They understand his strengths. They understand what he needs help with, and they knew how to work with him.
He is just the greatest joy you could imagine. It's really remarkable.
My hope is that anybody who would want to come here and feel the need to send their child here would be able to do that, because it's not fair for children not to have that opportunity. It's really not. And just because the parents may not be in a position to do that for them, we have to change that. There has to be access for everybody who needs this, because this education is so important.
There were no options, and thank God we had such a fine option in Houston.
I feel like we've been walking around on Mars or something for 3 years, you know, being from Earth, and nobody understands us, and we're finally in a place where everybody speaks our language, understands exactly what we've been through up to this point, and I just wish we'd found this place sooner.
And I think that personality change is, you know, so important for the long-term success of him. And it's because of what, you know, how he's being taught and being related to here at this school.
So it's given us a lot of hope for the future. And it's really let us see a side of Seth that we weren't seeing before, because he was so frustrated. He was constantly seeking, you know, the sensory needs that he had, and now he's not. He's able to relax and enjoy being around us. And my husband says all the time, it feels like we're a family now.
Just in that 4 months, a short time, Gregory is a different kid. He's our kid. I see my son coming out. He's like emerging from the fog, and it's a really remarkable thing.
You know, from being at school, things that we didn't do at home because they were either too hard, you know, at Westview, it's okay to get messy and it's okay to play and get dirty, and he loves art here, and I've got that from them. He loves reading, and this year I got a note home from school that says he's doing really well not answering for all his friends.
You can see that the kind of pride he takes in what he does now, and you know, we attribute all that to the great education he received here, and all the attention and empathy that he was shown.
This school has to go forward because we don't have any other options that we consider good options. It is going to be a huge issue to deal with in this country over the long term. Having watched Josh in public settings, small private settings that didn't know how to deal with it, they can't. The public doesn't understand it. The standard teacher doesn't understand it. So Westview is not only providing specific help to these children and these kids that will help integrate them into society.
Thank you, Westview School.
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 Good afternoon. My name is Kennedy Powell. I'm an alumni of the Westview School, and I was privileged to speak at last year's luncheon. I guess you could say I'm back by popular demand. Now I'm 17 and addressing a room of over 400, something that never even seemed remotely possible. Today, I want to talk to you about how we are all connected and to give parents of young children on the autism spectrum a vision of the possibilities ahead. As a result of my speaking on behalf of the Westview School last year, 3 incredible opportunities came my way. After the luncheon, a woman came up to me and introduced herself and congratulated me on a job well done. She also asked me if I might be interested in getting involved with her nonprofit that delivers inventive social skills programs for kids on the autism spectrum. That woman was Wendy Dawson, founder of Social Motion Skills. So I began to volunteer on Saturdays by working with and mentoring a group of young boys ages 8 to 12. We work on improving social skills while we build robotics. I selected them for my Eagle Scout project. I designed and built 5 reusable lemonade stands that could easily be stored and put together each year so that the kids could participate in Lemonade Day. The Lemonade Day people were so impressed with my lemonade stand design that uses no nails or screws that they want to make my design part of their program. And lastly, Wendy invited me to apply for a summer internship at Neighborhood Centers, Inc., a United Way agency that does extensive community outreach. Out of hundreds of applicants, I was one of 20 students chosen for the 2012 Summer Leadership Internship Program, all because I spoke at last year's luncheon. Near the end of the program, a contest was held for the interns where we had to give a presentation in front of a panel of judges about our summer experience. I placed 3rd for my PowerPoint presentation and won a $100 prize, even though I probably should have gotten 1st. Life on the spectrum is a series of obstacles where every advancement, even if hard one, leads to another and then another. Everyone had faith in me that I could be successful given the proper supports, especially Jane Stewart, who accepted me into the Westview, even though I tantrumed through the entire interview. Today, I'm an A student at Memorial High School. I'm on the football team. I'm about to attain my Eagle Scout rank, and I'm spending this year looking at colleges and searching out scholarships. If the measure of a school's worth is how it is esteemed in the eyes of its students, then I give the Westview School the grade of E, exceptionally extraordinary. I owe my future to the Westview School. Your contributions supported me, and now your contributions will go on to cultivate future role models. The Westview School deserves your financial support. Thank you. P.S. If you know any great summer internships, I'm looking.
Well, this is the second year in a row I get to follow that guy. I don't know how I drew that straw. Fantastic. Well, my name is Paul Jansen Sr., and I'm a former parent, or proud to be a former parent of a Westview student, as well as serving on the board of directors of the Westview School. We've heard from former parent, from a current parent, and from the beautiful students of Westview what a difference our school